Good morning, UPB It is Thursday, April 10th, 2014. This is the S&P 500 futures. This was the high we hit on the jobs report on Friday. We sold off about half hour into the trading session on Friday, continued that sell-off into this week. And then on Tuesday, we hit a nice bottom here. This sell-off, we snapped right back up, and we've been grinding and melting higher. These were the Fed minutes released yesterday. And then overnight, we were doing great until the European markets opened. We pulled back. You can see we're at this kind of next gap up that we had yesterday. And we're just bouncing off this level. The question is, are we going to continue to the upside? Or are we going to pull back? If you look, let's pull up the S&P 500 chart here. This is the SPY. And you can see we're bouncing off this 184 level. I talked about this in my videos recently. I said from a longer term perspective that at some point in time, in 2014, we're going to break through this line and put in some sort of right shoulder. This is a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And we'll see if that comes to fruition at some point in time. But right now, you can see the bulls kind of back in control. We have two up candles here on the 3-month daily chart here. And you can see off the lows, we had two up candles the last time. Actually, the last time we had 4 straight candles up to new record highs. The time before that, we had 2 candles to the upside, much like we have now, actually almost precisely to that same 187 level. And then the first time we broke out off this 184 level, we had another 5 or 6 trading days to the upside. So we'll see right now. It looks like we're going to get a little bit of a pullback, but that doesn't rule out individual names rallying today. And let's look at some charts. And I really like a chart, for instance, like Netflix. Netflix has been absolutely destroyed. Look at it back at the start of March, was over 450. Declined to the 330 level before bouncing, and it really hasn't bounced much. Now, if you want to look at this, doesn't even look like much of a flagpole to me. It looks like we're bouncing, and to get back to that 370, even that 380 level, in my opinion, won't take much. And look how we perfectly closed the gap up from the start of the year. Look at this gap up we had from the 330 level up to 390. We pulled back to the 330 level, so this gap is now closed. A lot of people like gaps in this market when you're trading stocks and looking at charts. So now, since we closed that gap, we can continue to the upside. I don't think a lot of people are calling that. Certainly weren't calling for it on Monday. All those nervous Nellies out there. You can look at the post I did at blog at optionmillionaires.com, which is great. Nervousness or people afraid to go long this market is good for the longs, because that tells you there's more upside to come. So Netflix, I mean, just gosh, look from a longer term perspective too. We're right here at support. Look at this. Even if we continue to the downside at some point, I think right now we're a snapback to 375, which would bring us right up here. Which it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, how quickly it's going to happen. And so that's Netflix Priceline. Same kind of thing here. This is another stock that people have been selling it, and it just hit down from its all-time high, $13.75, down over $200. Actually down to $11.40. So it's down $245 from its high. Pretty wild. And you can see I'm looking for a move back up to this 1263, 1270 level. And from there, we'll see. Are we going to just bounce around here, consolidate, spike to new fresh record highs? We're going to pull back. Either way, I'm looking for a continuation. Beautiful day. I said in the chat room yesterday, I actually alerted the calls earlier this week, my private Twitter account. I said in the chat room yesterday when we were just slowly grinding high, I said, look for Priceline. We know it does 3-4% in a heartbeat. It's up $40 before you can bat an eyelash. Kind of the forgotten stock, and I think it's going to see continued upside. U.S. Steel. I didn't like this stock really the last couple weeks, but now we are broken out. See this trend line here? This trend line goes back and back. I sound like Chris Berman at ESPN. Back. It's gone. And you can see from a long-term perspective, 5-year perspective, that trend line goes all the way back. It doesn't look like much on this ramp that we had in 2008, but yeah. And then support, long-term support lies at this level. So we've held support. We are just starting to break out of this wedge, and I could see $40-50 easily coming for U.S. Steel. So this is something I'm going to look for June or August options, call options, $35, $37 calls for the move up, because I think it's going to happen. And back when we hit the bubble top from the financial crisis in 2008, look how high we got there, almost $200 a share, $184 a share. So a lot of room. I'm not saying it's going to go that high, but look at it. I mean, a move to 40 would be nothing out of the ordinary for U.S. Steel. Bed Bath & Beyond is down pre-market, down about 6%. And you can see, actually, if you look at this chart pattern, there's a 10-year monthly. This is a bear flag. I wasn't into puts, but if you were looking from a chart perspective, you would expect it to trade lower. Support's going to be at this $55 level. Let's see if we can extend that. There we go. And let's extend this. There we go, $55 level. So we'll see if that's what happens over the next, 3 to 6 weeks for Bed Bath & Beyond. Although short term or intraday, if we drop enough, might be a chance to get into some calls for a bounce. We'll see. Let's move to Amazon. Amazon's another one. I brought this up at the blog at optionmillionaires.com, also at StockTwits, talking about the two resistance lines coming together here, and we dropped from 380 down to 320. Now, when I posted this chart at StockTwits, this support line was always here. This is a long-term support line, and look how perfectly we bounced off it, perfectly. And so I'm looking for a continuation of this move up to the 345 level. That'd bring us up here, maybe a little bit of a pullback, and then a push up back to 380, and then possibly back into this channel up here in the 400s for Amazon. Yeah, so Amazon's looking really good. Also, and in spite of the weakness, we have earnings before the bell tomorrow. Wells Fargo, which is down a little bit. I don't know. This trend looks like we're going to do pretty good here. And I would expect a possible move back over $50 for Wells Fargo. That'd be all-time high. Same with JP Morgan Chase, possibly back over the $60 level. And you can see this channel, I posted this many times here, well contained in this channel. So the issue is, or the question for JP Morgan bears and bulls is, we're going to come back down to this level in the low 50s, or we're going to break out up into the low to mid 60s for JP Morgan Chase. So that'll be fun tomorrow morning. And we got earnings kicking off in earnest the next couple weeks. It's going to be a really fun, exciting time. All right, UPB optionmillionaires.com. I'm expecting, in spite of the pullback here for the market, I'm expecting further upside. Yeah, call me crazy. But you can see, I bring this analogy up all the time. See, we hit our lows. It's like drowning a beach ball. The bears sit on that beach ball, and it just pops up. And guess where it pops to? New records. It pops up higher than before. So, looking for the same thing. We're pulling back here overnight after the European markets opened. And look, we're bouncing back. As people woke up, those nervous Nellies who weren't buying down here, who were selling, thinking we were going to crash, crater to oblivion like everybody else for the last 5 years. Every time we get someone getting nervous, saying the market's going to fall, that's when we rally. And look at this. I mean, it's just the people who were waiting here in cash, sitting on their hands, realize that there's a lot more risk not being in this market than there is sitting on your hands. You sit on your hands, we start to get inflation, you're just sitting in cash, not the place you want to be. And we're seeing that rotation over the last 3 to 5 weeks where we're having, even if the momentum stocks get sold off, stocks are still getting bought. It's just, they're just buying another type of stock, a dividend stock or blue chip. So, all right, UPB optionmillionaires.com. It's Thursday. I love Netflix. I'm into calls. I love Amazon. I love Priceline. Love you, baby. Everyone have a great trading day. I'll see you in the chat room at optionmillionaires.com. Goodbye.